Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And very good day. My name is Muhammad Umar Zaidi bin Muhammad Nur Rashid. My matric card number 2019530207, and I currently being my supervisor name is T.S. Muhammad Fauzi bin Othman, and my co-supervisor is I.R. Haji Razali Hassan. And without further ado, let's start the presentation for my final year project, which I am proposing to about the portable motor operated hacksaw. The list of the content that what I am going to explain regarding to the proposal throughout this presentation, right from project summary until my project planning about the portable motor operated hacksaw. To summary include what of this project might be is firstly is modeling of the project was illustrated using computer-aided design software known as SolidWorks. The software is efficient to draw 3D design. It easy to use parametric that I can easily to edit the design at any stage the design process. Besides, the analysis and simulation also this software to perform the project. Not to forget, I choose aftermarket hacksaw as a reference model as it already in the market, and I use as a guideline to innovate, to overcome and create a new product. Lastly, this project outcome will include of analysis and appropriate boundary condition of existing problem. Furthermore, this design is to overcome the problem that customer get and improve the product. For the background, I'm going to explain for the topic which is about my project. First of all, what is a hacksaw? Hacksaw is a fine-toothed saw that mostly used for cutting. It can be used to cut a variety of material, include plastic, metal, wood, and so on. There are two types of hacksaw, namely, first is power version hacksaw and second is hand version hacksaw. Hand version hacksaw is the energy used by a human to cut the workpiece. This hacksaw is good tool to use, but it become inconvenient when a large amount of cutting it required more energy. So the power version hacksaw is come out that use powered by electricity to cut the workpiece. This tool is improve the process of accuracy of cutting and can focus reducing idle time per unit. So for the next presentation is about problem statement of the project. I categorize my problem statement into three parts, which is the first part is machinery, the second part is manpower, and the last part is about the cost. First, we looking on the machinery. First is mostly the machine on the market are lacks of lubricant system on the machine. This will give impact of the blade lifespan and also the machine. Lastly, for the machinery is the size of the machine are too big and heavy. This machine is not suitable for domestic user because of their space and carry or change place. For the second category is manpower. So for the first problem statement is the machine is incapable of providing variable cutting speed and variety of a cutting angle. This apply the machine operate manually. The machine cause manual labor fatigue. So the last category part about the cost. Mostly the conventional power hacksaw price are too expensive, and this make domestic user less able to obtain it the machine. For the next slide, I'm going through is about the main objective of my project development. First is to make an affordable and portable product for the user to use. For the second one is to make sure that the cutting process is easier and safer for the customer use. For the third is to make the product more convenient and low cost. And lastly is to provide the hacksaw that have variable cutting speed and variety of cutting angles. Next is about my project scope and the limitation of the project. First, we're looking on the scope of the project. The purpose of this project is to design the machine that need to be minimal power consumption, ability to cut precisely and accuracy, and its portability. Next is there are several limitations in this project. First, it is cause of pandemic COVID-19. Due to pandemic COVID-19, many store and workshop to buy the material and also to fabricate part for the project are closed. Next, for the second is cost of the PC for design and simulation. At this stage, the limitation of PC for design and simulation is not quite good for rendering and it takes a longer time to finish. Third is the unfamiliar application use. The unfamiliar application use is to learn only on the internet. And lastly, it's quite difficult to discuss the project with supervisor using a phone. For the next presentation for this topic in chapter 2 is about literature review. So I will discuss some of research that I do as for reference to development for the project. First, it is about conventional hacksaw versus power hacksaw. As we can see, many advantages have on a power hacksaw compared to conventional hacksaw. First, it is about energy. The conventional hacksaw use manpower energy to cut the workpiece, while the power hacksaw is use power energy like electricity. This will help the worker to work more efficient and not exhausted. Next is about the size. This we can see that the conventional also have a good thing because of the size and weight. It portable compared to power hacksaw that have a big size and heavy. This help the domestic user can carry the tool and use it anytime and anywhere. For the third is about the process. The power hacksaw have a good quality of cutting and quick operation due to the auto constant speed of cutting engine compared to conventional hacksaw that use manpower that less quality of cutting and slow operation. And lastly is about production. The cutting process on power hacksaw is more easier than and it can produce more compared to the conventional hacksaw that difficult and cost of place and it less rate of production. Next, based on the research on the power hacksaw, they have principle used to development on the project. It's called yoke mechanism principle. The Scotch yoke mechanism is the basic principle of converting linear motion of the slider into rotational motion. It used by most of the power hacksaw. The Scotch yoke, also known as a slot link mechanism, as we can see on the left side figure, the double slide crankshaft is inverted in this mechanism. The piston or other reciprocating portion is directly coupled to the sliding yoke with a slot that engages upon the rotating part. This will give constant speed for the hacksaw to cutting the workpiece smoothly and good quality produce. This principle makes as the heart of the machine to operate. It is a part of the mechanical system that transfer the motion from power source to output. Next, from the research that I have found, there are many basic ideas that generate to create the product. For example, they want the hacksaw is efficiency, affordability, compatibility, and portability, that the domestic user can be used anytime and everywhere, but they cannot because many product in the market is heavy and bulky. From doing research on theoretical analysis, investigate on fabricate experimentally and design of the hacksaw, it can improve and solve the problem on power hacksaw and conventional hacksaw. The last slide, the literature review is about lubricant system. The lubricant system is an initiative to improve the product quality and can help the machine is durable and care the machine and blade more lifespan. So for the methodology, I'm going to present 5 parts, which is, for the first part is the process development of my project, which is the method that I use in my project. For the second one is about the example of my project flowchart. For the third is about the conceptual design of the hacksaw that I create. For the fourth, it is about the concept evaluation for each of the concept design. And lastly, it is about morphological chart. So this is methodology that I use for the method for my project. For the first one is construct project flowchart. Next is define market analysis, clarifying objective, idea selection, concept of development, material selection, and lastly it is finally prototype of the hacksaw. Next, this is example of my project flowchart. As we can see from the start is define what the problem statement that have about the project. Next is doing literature review to get knowledge to development into the project. Next is generate the concept that I want to improve to the project. Next is combine and evaluate all the concept that have chosen, and after that select the concept design that have more advantage. After that draw all the detailed design to the software SolidWorks. After that see the result of the design. If the design is not okay, we going back to the select concept design and repeat again the process. And if the result okay, we go to the process, check if prototype meet requirement needed. If not, repeat again from the select concept. If okay, the project is successfully. For the next slide, this will show about some conceptual design that I sketched to generate the product for my project. Each design has its own advantage and disadvantage according to few criteria. This is first design, next is second design, and lastly it is the third design. Next, I will explain to all three concept design. Evaluation is basically through analysis made on the conceptual design to know which design is the best. For the first design is for this design have safety feature. This will help user avoid from any danger. The product is high strength and high stability. Next, it is portable, and the design as we can see is simple. Besides that, it can use electricity or battery. And lastly, most of the body part made from plastic that called 3D. For the second design, the design is less safety feature on it and it less stability, but it is portable, and also the design is simple. After that, it's only use electricity power. Lastly, the body part have made from plastic and metal. For the third design is the design is less safety feature cause of large dimension, and it also heavy and not portable. The design is complex. The power source is used electricity, and most of body part is made from metal. Next, for the last part of methodology is about morphological chart. In morphological chart is consists of function analysis. Each function is listed with 3 different choice of mechanism. For example, like first part is the frame. There is 3 type frame that I sketch for each design. For the first and second design is like the same condition, but the material that used is different. And for the third, the frame is like more space used, and the material mostly used is metal. Next is transmitter. This will follow the concept of Scotch mechanism principle. For the first design is more simple, use small space. For the second is also good but less space, and the third is also good but use belting. Next it is a blade holder. As we can see, for each design 1 is more suitable and stability to use when cutting the workpiece compared to other design. And lastly, the power source that used for design 1 is it can use battery or electricity, but the other design is use only electricity. For the expected result of the project, the portable motor operated hacksaw is achieved the objective goal. Portable power hacksaw are useful tool for the small shop and domestic user. This hacksaw is obvious due to the fact that current power hacksaw today are heavy to carry to the required location. Apart of that, lubrication is another important component that has been taken of cutting user. We have lubrication in cutting, the surface finish of the product of cutting is more good and the tool blade cutter more lifespan. New feature like portability, low cost, variable cutting speed and lubrication system can address as major issue that the user face when use conventional hacksaw, like easy of carry the machine one location to another. It can decrease friction while cutting and cost is affordable for customer domestic user to buy. For the next, it is a simple design of my project, the portable motor operated hacksaw. Next, it is the view of the project. This is a top view, side view and front view. And last part of expected result is the boom of the product. This is my Gantt chart for my plan on my final year project. That's all from me. Thank you.